Hey, Storm fans, we hope you've all had a fantastic off season. As usual, I'm here with Rishi and Mike. Thank you for joining us for this special edition of the Let's Go Storm podcast, where for the first time ever, we'll be announcing a player re-signing ahead of the 23-24 season. For those of you watching on YouTube, you might be able to see who it is already. Hopefully, Rish has recorded it properly so you can't. But for those who are listening on Spotify, we welcome back a player with a 41-0 record for Storm. He was a Players' Player of the Year, Seth the Sniper Swelve. Welcome back, Seth.
I appreciate it. It's good to be on the podcast always.
Welcome back, Seth.
Welcome back, Seth.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, so second season. Really delighted to see you back. How was that decision process for you, Seth?
I feel like it's always a little chaotic at times. Just hearing from the people higher up with Storm and trying to stay in contact, and they've got a lot of different pieces to move around and things to figure out. So you try to stay in the loop, but they've got to do their job, and I've got to do my training and stuff like that. So the line of communication is always open, and they were doing a great job with that. But it's always chaotic. That's the best way to describe the off season, I think.
Yeah, maybe particularly this year with obviously a lot of changes have gone on with the Storm team after that epic season, but some big players coming out and starting to hear about some players coming back, which is obviously this is a part of that. But it must be quite complex to solve, fixing that puzzle together.
Right. It's a good problem to have, I guess. You have that much success, and guys get highlighted, so they further their careers, guys move on, things change. But it's a blessing to be in that situation, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, was it an easy decision to say yes when you got the phone call to come back?
For sure. You can't beat that fan support. Absolutely.
Yeah. How did you find that first season in England? Was it what you expected with the fans? Because I know obviously the American game's got such a push on it. Did you expect it to be what it was in England first year?
At first, my expectation, especially coming out of an American school, the support here was great. And my school, even though it was a little bit smaller, such a community team. A lot of people came to the games and supported, very similar to the Storm fan base. A lot of parallels there. But everyone tells you first year overseas, second year overseas, you're going to be playing in small gyms. Nobody really knows where you're at. A bunch of lines on the floor, stuff like that. But then on the USA Select Tour, we had a game at Hemel, and I was blown away. It was right after COVID too. So my senior year, we couldn't have any fans in the gym. So there's dead silent. You can hear a pin drop. You hear all the shoes squeaking, and you hear all the players talking. So it felt almost ominous a little bit how quiet it was. So coming out of that, and then getting that first taste of the Storm fans was a bit overwhelming, I enjoyed that a lot. It was great.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, it was good to glad you got that taste of it and took it up last season.
Yes,
4 trophies
sure.
hanging in your bedroom or wherever you've got them hanging around in the house anyway, so it was worth it.
I just wear the medals on my neck as I walk around every day.
Did you manage to get that replacement for the one you lost partying? We heard about that.
That was that's hearsay. That didn't actually happen. But yes, I did. Yes, we found it. It ended up Liv, JB's daughter, Liv. She ended up taking it from me to make sure I didn't lose it. So she had it the whole time. We were good.
And
they just teased you for a little bit.
What did you make of last season as a whole then, Seth? Obviously unexpected at the beginning of the season that you go unbeaten all season. Also, brilliantly, you got awarded the Players' Player of the Year as well at the awards evening. How did you find your overall experience of British basketball and like the performance of the squad throughout the whole season?
Oh yeah, you couldn't really ask for more. From actually liking the guys you play with to having success on the court, off the court, getting so close with everyone in the organization, all the fans, start to finish, and then to overcome, tough games. But, you hit the mid-season kind of, what's the right word? it slows down a little bit, and guys kind of lose motivation and excitement from the beginning, and how do you keep that motivation and that fire and competitive spirit high? So the fact we were able to do that, make it through the season, and have that success on the court, but to enjoy each other pretty much the entire time. Yeah, that was, you couldn't ask for more. If you did, you'd be greedy.
A good way of putting it. It's a I mean, it's unexpected to have that level of success, and particularly in the first season. One of the things I was thinking about, Seth, is the how do you kind of get your mind into the next season when you've had that level of success to kind of go, okay, because it's kind of like, I guess it's one of the beauties of sport is it's a clean sheet again, right? And you start from scratch and you go again, but that's obviously something you've got to work on mindset wise.
Yeah. I read a book this summer by Tim Grover. He was Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan's trainer, and he would say how those guys were so elite because they'd win a championship, and the very next day they'd wake up and basically had forgotten it. It was, all right, how do I do it again? What's the next thing? So that was the biggest thing this summer was, celebrate what you've done. It's always important to acknowledge the good stuff you've done and to take that time to appreciate it, because stuff like that doesn't happen all the time. But then how do you flip that switch? Like you said, clean the slate, and then, what can I improve? What can I bring? How do I add more value? And then make that plan and then execute it.
Are you going to get Sam or anyone else that re-signs to read that book as well, Seth?
I don't know if Sam's much of a reader. He's pretty intelligent already. I think he knows too much.
He knows his numbers. I'm not sure if he can read or not. That's what I've been told anyway.
He knows threes more than two, so that's all that matters.
So, we like to discuss Darlow's DMs on all the podcasts. Have you been in them all summer as well then, as part of like keeping you warm to come back?
Yeah, he was flirting with me a little bit. So no, we became pretty good friends. So we were talking about a lot of stuff this summer, and just I respect him as a basketball mind so much. So always great talking with him about hoops. But yeah, once it got close, JB was kind of leading the charge on that. Just because we got so close to living with him and being around JB. So I feel like he's the one calling the shots a lot. But yeah, that relationship we have, I think he felt pretty comfortable with.
Really good.
So then, obviously, you mentioned JB and Darlow there, but have you had the chance to speak to new coach yet at all? Have you had much interaction with him?
I haven't yet. I have not. I gotta figure that out. Just been working on visa stuff right now, so making sure it can be official before we chat it up.
That's fair. Makes sense.
When are you expecting to be back over?
My flight is booked for September 4th, so as long as everything goes well, that should be the day.
Nice. Awesome. Get a bit of week training in with the new team before we go again against USA.
That's right. That beats last year I flew in, that day had a practice, and then I'm pretty sure the next day or the day after we were playing. So it was like I met everyone, and then it was like, all right, let's toss the ball up and go play.
Excellent. Well, that worked out quite well, didn't it?
Yeah, maybe we do the same thing.
Yeah, just to rock up on a day.
Change the flight to the 8th,
yeah. I'll just miss my flight, spend a couple more days here, then show up and play.
Yeah. So what day is that first game? Is it the 9th, did you say?
10th. Sunday the 10th.
Okay.
10th.
Cool.
Yeah.
6 p.m. tip off for everyone watching. 6 p.m. So get there for 5 to enjoy the warm ups.
Yes, exactly.
Love it.
Oh, that's an hour later than a normal Sunday.
I was going to say warm ups. Are we going to get any more of the famous sort of like last 10 minutes before the warm up? We always used to catch you and Darlow doing the threes practice. Is that something that was that something you've done in all your career, or was that just something last season you got into?
I always like to just mentally, like the more reps, the better I feel. And I think Darlow was all about that. Me making more threes. So sometimes it would be me leading it. Sometimes he would encourage it. But yeah, the more reps I can get, and it always helps to have a rebounder. So hopefully we can get a few more threes in.
Nice. Did you find one question I was thinking during the season? Obviously, when in America, I think the 3-point line's slightly further away, isn't it? In the UK, did it take much adjustment for you to find the range, or was it just natural?
So they actually moved back the college line to the FIBA line a couple years
Oh,
ago.
did it? Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know if that's right. I mean, so the gym that I practice on all summer before, like, or I guess after college, was that line. I don't think we had it for a season, but the majority of our games, the gyms we would play at, had that line. And I think people just naturally go to that deeper line. Just subconsciously, it's where you see the floor, and that's where you keep your feet behind. And then in Georgia, it was longer too, so not much of adjusting. And I mean, it's like a foot. I think it's more mental than anything. Just
Oh, it's
making
just not
sure.
that big. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it looks a little farther, but at the end of the day, most people shoot their threes, a step off the line anyways.
No, perfect.
One thing we didn't see from you last season, Seth, do you think we'll see this year? Is a hammer dunk or anything like that?
It would have to be the perfect storm, pun intended.
That was last season then, and you missed your chance.
Right. No, I'd have to be fresh enough, so it'd have to be earlier in the game. The defense would have to completely stop and give me time to wind up and run at it. So, yeah, I don't know if that'll ever come, but I can dunk. I want people to know that.
Hopefully, we get to see it at some point this season. Then.
Yeah, if push comes to shove, I'll just have someone like Akeem pick me up, put me up there.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome. So you mentioned Hakeem. We've got Sam back as well. Obviously, I think that's been announced. Do you remember coming up against Vernon? He's just been, I think we played against him at Worthing. Looks a really good player. Do you recall much about going up against him?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, whenever he checked in, we always knew he's definitely high energy guy. Seems like a great teammate. Knows how to put the ball in the hole. Yeah, I mean, finishes above the rim. He was a handful for sure. So I'm glad we're not having to guard him this year.
Yeah, really excited to see him in the orange and black. Should be cool.
Really good as well to get 3 of the starting 5 back, and the other 2 have gone on to professional basketball. But obviously, once Taylor and Aaron were announced as leaving, then as fans, you're starting to worry that whether you, Sam, and Hakeem would come back, whether the opportunity would be there. So it's really good that 3/5 are back, definitely.
Yes, for sure. And it's always nice as a team to have that chemistry and some guys you played with before. That you cannot replace that. Just knowing how a guy plays and what he likes to do and what they're comfortable with. Just that unspoken part of basketball. You just kind of have a feel for it. So huge advantage.
So is there any? We've got 3/5 of the team you mentioned there, but if you set yourself any goals or expectations for the season, or are we just gonna game by game, or if you got a forward-thinking plan?
Definitely a few things that I've tried to emphasize and work on this summer to get better at. As for team goals, I mean, we want to step out there and win every game and compete for trophies and championships and stuff. But the biggest thing is just trying to focus on getting better each day. I've always caught myself, if I look too far in the future, you try to set expectations and things like that. And a lot of times, the end result can be better than what you think it is. So if you just hold yourself to a high standard each day, me individually and us as a team, I think the results end up being what they should be, for better or for worse. But most of the time, that's better than what you can imagine.
I could answer.
The interesting stat as well for you, Seth, probably the biggest accolade of all for you really is this. You're the first person ever to have been on the podcast twice. So we spoke to you the end of November last year. And yeah, you're the first. So I think that's probably better than 4 trophies and 41-0, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess we call that 5 trophies.
We'll get you another medal.
Please do. I'll wear that one proudly. I won't lose that one, I promise.
Yeah.
It'll probably be plastic one though.
That's okay. Maybe just give me a couple extra.
Yeah, just in case. Yeah.
Just in case.
Awesome.
So have you got a final one for me? Have you got much plans in the last week or so? Is it just spending time with friends and family before you fly back out?
Yeah, pretty much. Want to finish my training strong, make sure my body's feeling good to hit the ground running when I get there, and then just try to soak up that family time because that's what I miss the most when I'm gone. So just trying to be as present as possible and just get those family experiences and memories.
And is the moustache coming back to England with you?
It is mostly because I don't know how to trim it yet. So I don't want to risk cutting it all the way off. So I'm going to leave it until I figure it out.
Well, I think we should leave it until we lose a game. So if we get to 82-0, that's going to be an absolute monster.
Yeah, you won't be able to see my face by the end of it. So yeah, it's a good goal. I like that.
Excellent idea. Excellent.
Anything else?
Nothing else from me. Seth, just to say thanks, and I hope you enjoy the last few days at home. Have a safe journey over, and we look forward to seeing you in the Storm Dome in a couple of weeks.
Sounds good. I appreciate it, and looking forward to see you guys in person and at games, and hope we have a great year.
Yeah, it's brilliant to have you back, Seth. Enjoy the rest of your time, and thanks to everyone who's listened or watched this on YouTube.
Thanks.
Yes.